Hey everybody, it's Jeff. I'm going to give you a quick recap of what I did today on the workbench. This morning, I was continuing the work on this interactive Go object inspector, and the last time I was working on this, I ran into a problem with reflection where whenever I was setting a value using a reflect value set string, it would say it's unaddressable. And talked to some friends, kind of got some ideas, but didn't quite figure it out, other than I wasn't actually working on fields of a struct, and ultimately I'm going to be working on fields of a struct, and in theory, fields of a struct are addressable. And so I basically converted it and moved it forward so that we didn't have those kind of fake new fields, and just made object actually wrap a struct, and it does some reflection on the fields and on the methods. And I ran into some weird stuff where, like, I get the reflection of a pointer to a struct, and I needed kind of two references to a type. I needed both the go from the pointer to the object that it's referencing and get its type, but I also needed the type of the reference itself, because otherwise, either here and here, I wouldn't actually get proper number of methods. Like, I would get this type, v-type, and this would point to, an instance of foobar or bazcux, and it would say that's what the name returns is that. But then if I did number of methods, it would say 0, even though they both have methods. And so I discovered eventually that if I get the type of the pointer of the actual reference to that struct, then it works. So anyway, I finished this. I actually have it set up so it actually goes through all the fields and is able to show their values and set their values. And then for all the methods, it actually also creates a button. And they also added a little log display at the bottom. So let me show you this real quick. So we've got our list of objects on the left, and these are just instances that I made, but I mean, eventually this is like whatever, a repository or some hierarchy of objects or whatever. And we can go in and we can set values. I don't know, I think my first car was a Toyota, banana. And then these are methods, and I can actually just call those methods. And right now all they do is print out to the logs. So here's another example though where where the method prints the logs but actually uses some of the variables, some of the fields on there. Right. So you can kind of see where this is going. It lets me create a little inspector, an interactive way to work with plain old Go objects, which is pretty cool. The idea is to give us something where we can build systems that have almost Unity-like list of objects and an inspector to kind of interactively work with code, combined with a system where I can edit the code and hit save and it recompiles and reruns. It allows me to create interactive long-running daemons in a paradigm I call continuous programming, where you're sort of programming and using the program at the same time. And then this just helps make that a little easier, since we don't have a REPL or any way to kind of, like I mentioned on stream, that Twisted Python let you SSH or telnet into a twisted daemon and get a little REPL, and work with pretty much everything inside that daemon and inspect things and run code and whatever. Is pretty cool. So this isn't that. There isn't a good kind of REPL solution for Go yet. And somebody else also pointed out that this, could tie back into the QRPC stuff. It could. These objects don't have to be, once we get good at this, these objects don't have to be Go objects. They could be objects on a QRPC bus, and so they might be objects in Go, or they might be objects in Ruby or Python or JavaScript, and you'd be able to kind of interact with them all in one place. And so the idea, though, is that you could SSH in to get this interface instead of run a program, because this would be a long-running daemon. And so the problem then is that tcell, which these terminal view components are based on, tcell does have an abstraction for a screen, which I can use to create an implementation that, as opposed to using standard in, standard out, or pseudo terminal, we can actually send it over the network over SSH. Unfortunately, a screen is not something that you can set in tview, so I'll just have to patch. I submitted an issue to basically add that to the API so that you can run tview with a custom screen. And so my next step is creating what I got started on today, is trying to do like a basic program with tcell instead of tview. And let's see, this was originally a mouse program that let you draw a bunch of stuff, but they have no simpler hello world, so I kind of just simplified this program, and now I'm going to try and create an implementation of tcell screen that can be used over SSH, and then hopefully get this running over SSH. And then maybe by then, they'll have some feedback on how to do this with tview, and then I can fork and submit a PR for that, and we can get these interfaces over SSH. So that's it for today. If you want to keep following along, subscribe to my YouTube, or hang out on Twitch. My schedule's up there, but I do some unscheduled streams like this. So that's it. See you later.